So it's beginning of 2022, and realized I hadn't really done a look back at this last year, and thought it also might be good to explain why I no longer hold a political party affiliation, as well as some other thoughts. See, I've been a Republican since before I could register to vote, so 33 years, approximately. 34 years, yeah, been a while. But this last year, and just a number of things that have happened have caused me to reevaluate that. And I think the easiest way to do that is to kind of look back at this last year. It's funny, I look back at my earlier videos where I talked about COVID and what was going to happen, and boy, did I short sell it. We've hit 1 million people that have died. Official estimates are 850,000 that have died in the U.S. from COVID. But the real number is well over 1 million because there's a lot of people that never documented it. That makes it the number 2 killer behind heart disease, which heart disease isn't a communicable disease. So we've killed over 1 million people. 1 in every 270 people has died from COVID. That it's crazy. And in our area here, we're still at a 40% vaccination rate, and we still have a lot of people that think it's a myth and not real and a government conspiracy and the mark of the beast and all sorts of other stupidity. This year has really shown a couple things with our country. One, we've got a lot of very gullible people. I realize my hair's sticking up with the wind. We've got a lot of very gullible people who want to be gullible. We've got a lot of very deliberately ignorant people who ignore facts, reality to fit their paradigm. And we are very divided right now, not just politically, but culturally, racially. This is as bad as I have ever seen it. Worse than I've ever seen it, honestly. It's terrible the way people treat each other. I would not want to be working in the service industry. I wouldn't want to work at a theme park or food service, because the way people are treating other people right now is horrible. There's no patience, there's no tolerance, there's no empathy. It's really sad. Really sad. Our attitudes as a people are terrible. Very self-centered, very self-righteous. And as I said, we believe all sorts of stupidity right now. Sitting in a parking lot, there's a very loud car pulling up next to me. But the number of people who still think that Trump lost because of corruption, fraud, and other stuff is unbelievable. Trump lost fair and square. There's no doubt about it. There was no fraud. Every single court case was thrown out for lack of evidence, because their evidence was, oh, well, we think we might find something somewhere, or this guy's brother's cousin's friend's stepbrother heard that somebody at the election office voted twice, which is hearsay. That's not legal evidence. The recount they did in Arizona that they were sure was going to turn up a lot more Trump votes actually found a handful more for Biden. Just continual. Mike Lindell, the pillow guy, keeps throwing out allegations that have nothing to them. It's like, stop with the falsehoods and the lies already. But the people want to hear them, and they believe them, and they suck it up. Trump continues to spew lies. And then, of course, we had the insurrection, where they tried to protect the country, they tried to overthrow it. To protect the Constitution, let's overthrow the Constitution. And now they're trying to say, oh, but it wasn't the Republicans. It wasn't the Trumpites. It wasn't. Yes, it was. There's every bit of evidence, and the people being arrested and proudly proclaiming it are all Trumpites. And the fact that the Republican Party, rather than wanting to deal with truth, wanting to say, yeah, this is what's really happened, continues to spew lies, misinformation, falsehoods, conspiracies. I can't go with that. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Democrat positions. I don't agree with them on a lot of things. I'm not a fan of Biden. I'm certainly not a fan of our vice president. But they won. That's the facts. Fine, move on. We deal with the next election. We don't need to spew lies and conspiracies and garbage and say that it's okay what happened last year. I can't abide by that. I cannot go with that. So I'm no longer a Republican. I refuse. I refuse to go along with a group that thinks that the ends justify the means, and who cares about the truth as long as we get our way. Again, I don't like their Democrats, but they're more honest right now, which is terrible. So, nope. Won't deal with either one of them. Having a very hard time, even with where we're at, because of how many people. I had another discussion the other day with somebody else who thought that the vaccination shots were the mark of the beast. And doesn't want to hear anything else. Paul wrote very well in 1 Timothy, where he says that they want to have their ears tickled. They won't engage with or acknowledge truth because they want to hear what they want. Romans, okay, I know this isn't exactly what it applies to, but it holds up when it says that they exchange the truth for a lie. And that's where we are right now. Our society as a whole is at a place where we don't care if something is actually true. We won't care to look it up. We don't care to want to know. We only want to hear what we want to hear, and we only want to hear from people that we like and agree with, and we'll feed the stuff that we want to. Truth is irrelevant. I deal in truth. Truth is my job. Truth is my passion. And the truth is, we're a bunch of gullible dummies. And we're going to see a lot more people die because we refuse to engage with actual truth. It's sad. What's made this country great isn't existing right now. And we've got a lot of countries that are doing better. COVID these last 2 years has brought out the worst in people all over the place. All over the world. The worst in their attitudes, the worst in their feelings. The very beginning, it was a, we're going to get through this. We can do this. And within a few months, it began to turn. And now, then you add in all the supply shortages, the labor shortages. They can't get workers. They can't pay them enough. They can't get, grocery store shelves have lots of empty spots in them. Gas prices are high. Inflation's going up. The housing market is insane. You put a house up for sale and it sells within a week, sometimes within a day or two. And just, this is one of those things that we will get through this, but wow, is it a time for the ages. I'm hoping and praying that, one, that we get back to semi-normal. This new version of COVID, Omicron, is infecting massive numbers of people, but it's not as serious, not as many are dying. There's just a whole lot more of them getting it. But hoping and praying that this is a sign that it's actually going to get better, because it's not as serious, it's not as deadly. Hopefully that means that we can get some herd immunity, and that it's mutating into a form that isn't anywhere near as serious. So we can get back to normal that way. And praying that something changes in our country's attitudes, and that people will start getting over themselves and stop believing lies and start being kind again. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what this next year holds. I might have been optimistic in the past. I'm not sure where I am on that right now. We'll find out.